Hi there, this is Avant-Garde Savage, and today we're gonna talk about how to live a long and healthy life. First step, don't jump off cliffs like this. Seriously now, we're gonna take the largest ever study on longevity and dissect the main three findings and explain why they found those things and how you can apply it to your own life. So the largest ever study on longevity is the Thurman study, where Dr. Thurman took high IQ children, tested them, and then followed them throughout their lives to see the outcome in longevity and health. It took over 75 years, and it was actually so long that Dr. Thurman died during it, and they had to continue it with other research. So, what did they find out? Conventional thinking is that your health depends on your biology, not your psychology or your social life. That you are healthier or unhealthier depending on what you eat, what you do physically, what physical environment conditions you expose yourself to, and maybe stress. Data shows this is different. The data shows that the people with the larger and more stable social networks lived longer and healthier. It also showed some interesting things about marriage, which is maybe the deepest social relationship most people have. And it didn't show that married people are healthier. Rather, it showed that married people were healthier even before they got married, possibly because they had the better social connections from the beginning. And very interestingly, it showed that divorce or being widowed, so the end of marriage, had significant negative impact on the health and longevity expectations. So basically, people who got divorced or lost their spouse lost also some years of life from this. And very interestingly, the impact was higher for men than for women, because apparently men tend to focus all their social relationship on the wife, and they tend to disregard other social relationships after they get married, while women tend to maintain a social support structure even when they are married. So when divorce or death happens, the woman has that social relationship structure to fall back on, while men are basically alone, and then this leads to earlier death and disease. So why? Why would social relationships be so important for health and longevity? After all, they're just talking with people, right? I've spent 95% of the whole of history of Homo sapiens in the Stone Age, where we lived in small egalitarian bands of maybe a dozen, 2,000 at most people. And our survival at that point depended on being part of this band. That is why traditionally the second worst punishment after death is exile, because for most of Homo sapiens history, exile meant death. So because of so much time living in bands, about 190,000 years, probably our bodies adapted to this lifestyle, adapted to being part of a group. So nowadays, exile, being alone, is not death directly. Of course, you don't die if you're left alone in modern society. However, being alone has impact on your body, because it is contrary to how your body adapted to live. And this leads to earlier death and disease. So what's the implication for you? Well, first of all, if you are married, don't disregard your friends, because if, God forbid, something happens and you get divorced or something happens to your spouse, you will need those friends to fall back on. Second, spend time with your family and friends, even if it might seem a waste of time now, even if it is very easy to let relationships go away due to all the busy stuff we are exposed to. Every minute, every second that you spend investing in a relationship is basically an investment in time for you. Every minute means more time for you alive and healthy. So it is a very good investment. And last but not least, be generous with the people in your life. Contribute to these relationships, because you will get it back in health and years of life tenfold. been a lone wolf, people have told me. When I started changing my life and discovering what it would mean to live well, this meant living very differently from what people around me are doing, having interests very different than my friends and my family, and it led to a period where I basically cut off contact with almost all the people in my life, a period of isolation, which was not that pleasant. Even though rationally it should have been okay, and I had books and podcasts and movies, documentaries, so I could surround myself with the knowledge and views of people with which I connected, it wasn't the same as having people around me. So nowadays, even though sometimes I might think that it's better time spent reading a book or learning something than going out with people I don't find that interesting, I force myself to do the socializing because I know it will be more beneficial in the long term. Thank you for watching. Today you learned that you live longer and healthier if you help other people. So help your friends and help me by sharing this video so they live a longer, healthier life as well. Thank you. See you next time.